Peace and welcome into the latest episode of Men of a Certain Age, The Soup. As always, I'm Les. I got my man Don and my man Panero with me. Peace, fellas. What's good with you?
Can't call it, man. Another great week. We're still here, still adulting. Everything is good, man. Zero complaints. Zero. I never complain anyway.
That's what's up. How was your week, Panero?
Good to see my guys. Look forward to it every Sunday. Had a birthday yesterday, man. You know what I mean?
Salute.
Grown people stuff, bowling and sleeping. That's I'm a man of a certain age. Bowling, beer, and sleeping.
They say you went with your friend Flintstone tippy toe with before
man,
you
all up in here with it. All up in here with it. You know what I'm saying? Out of 4 games, I got 2, so I'm good.
That's what's up, Lord. Peace.
Yeah.
Happy Board Day forever.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, man, it's March. So let me just set the scene for you. As we're taping right now, I got the women's tournament going right now. Wow. You know what I mean? I got the Caitlin Clark. So when I say Caitlin Clark, man, what comes first to your dome piece, Don?
I think about the Great White Hope. I gotta give it to her. She nice. She crazy nice, but you know what I'm saying? Everybody needs a hero, and that's their hero right now. You know what I'm saying?
Say word.
Yeah, it is what it is. I'm not tripping because she can ball. Even if she was a scrub, you know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
But she can ball. My thing is, I put a meme up last year when she was doing all that, and you know what I'm saying. And then when LSU did it to her, oh, they were villains and bad, and
right.
You know what I'm saying, bad sportsmanship. So yeah, you know what it is, man.
Right.
This is the latest White Hope. We've been seeing it since '78 with Larry Bird, man.
No doubt. That's a fact. So what about you, Lord? As I said, it's March Madness. We about to get into it heavy. When you hear Caitlin Clark, what sparks to mind, Lord?
What comes to mind is the same thing Don said. But what also comes to mind is we know more about some of the women in college basketball nowadays than the men. I can't name Duke starting 5, but I can tell you that Caitlin Clark is a scoring machine. You know what I'm saying? When I know she playing, I'm like, let me see what's going on with her.
No doubt.
She putting it in the hole.
We all know it's the hype machine. She's a European, and she just happens to be in Iowa, quote unquote, the heartland. So of course that elevates it to the next level. I take my hat off to her because there's no question she put the work in to be out there busting those females' ass. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, as I said, we setting the tone as a March Madness. I'm rooting for South Click here later on this afternoon to go against them Bayou Bengals from LSU. Yeah, we're gonna keep it moving with this particular episode of the Soup. We have an awesome show this week. We got Nick Cannon and Dr. Umar in the Soup here today. We got Charleston White, man. We're going to talk a little bit about Charleston White and the type of things that he's got going on. We're also going to talk about Mark Robinson. We're going to introduce him into the Soup as well, because this guy is a very dangerous dude right out here. He's a super villain as we talk about it. And we also got a collect call coming from Suge, coming from the P now. We got a collect call from Suge, and he got a whole lot to say while we got him on the line. So we're going to add Suge to the Soup a little bit too. And then also, man, your man from St. Louis, one of the St. Lunatics, has something to say on the shop concerning the era when he came out. So we're going to address all of that here in this particular episode of the Soup. So as I said, man, from the beginning, we have Nick Cannon and Dr. Umar on this particular episode, man. And they had an interesting conversation about the word or the use of the word nigga. I thought it was really interesting on Nick Cannon's pod or his channel, which is called Counsel Culture, not cancel culture, but counsel culture. And what they were actually talking about, they were talking about the use of the word nigga. Dr. Umar is like non-cipher with that. You know what I mean? I don't play that nigga shit. And Nick it belongs to us, so we use it how we want to use it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's used in a term of endearment, and then it could be used as a detriment to someone else. So what I wanted to do, man, is I wanted to take a look at that and listen to them build on it for a minute, and then come back and throw it back out to y'all and see what y'all felt, what they had to say.
What I'm seeing, and I'm going to give some of this blame to the hip hop community, because I've seen hip hop artists defend And I've seen non-hip hop artists. So not only them, I've seen black people defend white people's or non-African people's usage of the N-word.
Well, this is where we have to.
And let me say this before you respond to that. I have a big problem with it, Nick, because no word in human history has been used so definitively and intently to disgrace and dehumanize an entire population like that N-word. And then, stay with me, Nick, I've seen white women come and try to argue that calling me Karen is equal to calling you the N-word.
We're not going to entertain that. That's silly.
I've had white women come and say calling me the snow bunny is equivalent to calling you the N-word. No, it's not.
That's ridiculous.
And let me finish with this one line. And the reason it's not, one of the reasons, is the N-word was codified structurally by the U.S. government to dehumanize African people. Snow bunny, Karen, or any other word was never codified and backed up with the power of an entire government to dehumanize the people.
Now, let me offer this up. I mean, obviously, we know this is going to go viral. We know this is going to create a conversation. But let's call it for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even respect the whole term, the N-word. First of all, if we're going to say it, let's just say it. But secondly, if you're going to say it, it's N-word. And what we have to offer, you got to be real, because you're an orator, you're a linguist, you're one who knows that just in a slight alteration, in a nuance in a term, you add a comma or something on something, and it's a completely different word in multiple languages. So the word nigger and the word nigga are two completely different words. Even if we want to say nigas, which is how it's written out in the term of Ethiopian, which means king, but I'm gonna only offer this, I only say that to say.
How are they different though? The nigga with the nigga.
So we know the word nigger with the hard R is created for
dehumanization purposes.
Exactly. Dehumanization, it is at this point been classified as a racial slur.
Absolutely.
Nigga, from as we know, it was broken down. Even if it started in that space, it actually doesn't come from the word nigger. It comes from the word and you can go back and even listen to it from even Dr. King's speeches, is the idea of Negro. Then in the slang terminology, they start to call them Negroes.
Okay.
So it went from Negro to Negroes to nigger. It didn't go from nigger to nigger. It sounds like that's what we did.
Okay.
But if you do the history, I've actually done papers on this. We went from Negroes, which we embraced, which just meant.
So we're mid conversation. Obviously, we didn't pick this up right from the beginning. What I was going to ask is this, not really ask, what I wanted to point out to is this. First and foremost, for that conversation even to be had, those brothers are two very intelligent brothers to have this dialogue between themselves on the use of it and then not using it. Now, we're going to go back to it, but just off of what we just heard, what would you say to that, Don?
I use it, but I use it only when I'm actually talking to a friend of mine. So it's not something that I want anybody to feel that they're ever comfortable saying around me. So I make sure that the people that I use in a conversation with are genuinely people that are separate from the general public. I don't generally use it in public. Yeah, it's not really something I do. I really only use it amongst my friends. It's not anything that I really have ever had a problem with. Now, when someone else of another race uses it, then that's a completely different thing, because you never know where it's coming from. So you don't know if they're saying it because they think they're cool, or they think they're acceptable, or they think that they got enough brownie points with you, or whatever the fuck it is. But it's never cool hearing it from somebody of another race. It used to fuck me up hearing Puerto Ricans from like New York and Dominicans be like, yeah, my nigga. And I'm like, yo, you not black. But it's a different cultural flow down there. You know what I mean? And now it's more of a national thing. So it's different to hear. I just don't like, if I don't know you personally and you're a person of color, don't say it around me. You know what I mean? Because I don't know what your experience has been with it.
I like that. So before I come back to you, P, what I want to do is I'm going to go back to them and see what else they had to say. Then we're going to come back again.
Black. And it went from Negroes to then in the Southern term, we start saying Negroes.
Okay.
And then we know this.
Let's
Negroes
assume that
this,
history
Negroes
is correct.
That. Even like I said, in Dr. King's Negroes. Instead of saying
Let's
Negroes.
assume that's correct.
And it's factual. And then we went to nigger. So there was never that was not the same term as nigger, the dehumanizing term.
Let's assume your premise is correct.
Okay.
Do you think that our brothers on the street who call each other nigger are doing it because they understand that history? Or did they take the pejorative term that was used to disgrace their race, remix it, and use it? In other words, when our people use the N-I-double-G-A, they are borrowing the N-I-double-G-E-R, and they are simply modifying it for social purposes. The point that I'm making, Brother Nick, is I believe psychologically, it still carries the same stain of dishonor.
So, and then because
in other words, if we have a guest speaker and I say we got a nigga coming to the stage, is anybody expecting an attorney, a Nick Cannon, an engineer, an entrepreneur, a surgeon, a doctor, a psychologist, when you use the word N-I-double-G-A, do you really believe that anybody, black or white, expects the person attached to that title to be something their children can look up to? And if the answer is no, N-I-double-G-A is just as disgraceful as N-I-double-G-E-R.
Lord, so coming to you on this one, Lord. Now, he said earlier that the culture, that hip-hop played a part in the acceptance of nigger. Now, going back to what we just heard from Dr. Umar and how he just put that, what's your thoughts on that, Lord?
It's interesting, and I like Dr. Umar. I follow a lot of things that he does. He's a Pan-Africanist, you know what I'm saying? I respect his opinion. But I respectfully have to disagree, because he said if you introduce someone saying nigga, all you have to do is put my in front of it as a term of endearment. See, what we've done is we've turned nigger into nigga, and I was saying amongst family, and turn a negative into a positive. Now, if he said my nigga from this, that, and the third, of course he getting applause. If he just said nigga, obviously he's not. So he's using the word in a different way. Now he's using it to make sure his point is made, but then again, he's actually, he could have used it in a positive way. There's nothing really, how can I say this? Don said, if I'm in the house and I call my sister a name, she's my sister, she's my family. But if we go outside and someone else calls her that name, we have a problem. You know what I'm saying? It's an issue. You know what I'm saying? So I think the term, what Nick was trying to do was trying to give him the history of how it went from really bad to us taking it and making it our own so no one else can say it, you know what I'm saying, and making it a positive. But Dr. Umar did put a pretty interesting spin on it, but I just have to disagree with his spin. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I feel. Like you said, Les, hip-hop has used it in a way to grab our ear. You know what I'm saying? But once they grabbed our ear, we realized they weren't using it as a derogatory term to put negative on us. It was a positive term for each of us to communicate with.
We take Dr. Umar and Nick Cannon off the burner here and move on to the next topic. I want to go ahead and I want to go back to them for just a quick short and listen to a little bit more, and then we'll come back one more time.
Can't argue with you. If I can add an addendum.
Sure.
The community nomenclature, the idea of we've taken something negative, embraced it, took the power out of it, and made it our own, to what we originally started talking about. And that's only because you said we don't have. I forgot how the term that you used to where we police our own. There's some autonomy in our culture.
Yes, sir.
We can say, I can say Dr. Umar is my nigga. That means just in that term that he has the same understanding as me. He goes through the same challenges as me.
Mm-hmm.
He understands culturally the things that we both go through. Therefore, I embrace him in a way that I wouldn't embrace somebody else, that I would never use that term. And to your point, wouldn't even say that term in certain companies. But because there's an affinity and a compassion that I have for you, I can say that term, like, and you know exactly what I mean.
So let me ask you a question. If we took this racially destructive term, this racial slur that has been used to dehumanize our people for 4 or 5 centuries, and we stripped it of its power and its negativity, re-embraced it as a term of endearment, if you believe that's even possible, because I don't think it is, I think the word always carries its original meaning and its intent and the energy behind it. But if you argue that it's possible to do that, why haven't European Jews taken the K word and did that? Why haven't Latinos taken the H word and did that? Why haven't Asians taken the G word?
They have.
They have not.
No, because first of all,
you ain't
and then the same to you. There's certain terms, and we're not even. There's certain terms even in the way you say it. There's certain terms of the Latino community that they call themselves.
Okay.
That we can't say. Even the word Jew, trust me, I know.
Okay.
There's certain ways and phrases that you say that only they can say.
Has it been normalized in their community as much as nigga has been normalized in ours?
We commercialized it. We made money off of nigga.
Exactly.
We making money off of
listen
nigga.
to what you.
And it always comes to that.
To the dollar.
It always comes to that.
Almighty dollar wins again.
Cash rules. With that being said, we're going to put a pin in that and take that off of the burner and put that to the side, Nick Cannon. But I like to salute both of them, man, because as I said earlier, man, they 2 brilliant dudes, man. Say what you want to say about Nick Cannon. He is a movement. You know what I'm saying? Say what you want to say about Dr. Umar. We still waiting on that school. You see, he don't push that too much no more. He ain't pushing the school too much. But like you said, P, when we are men of a certain age, there are things that Dr. Umar says, and I'm like, okay, I get with that. Then there are things that he says, and I'm like,
I respectfully disagree.
Yeah, fuck out of here.
It comes to that sometimes. But I got love for both of those brothers.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? So as I said, we're gonna take that off the burner and we're gonna add this one to the soup. And this next one, man, I'm gonna say it, man. He is a nigga, man. And when I talk about a nigga, I'm talking about a damn fool. You know what I'm saying? And this happens to be Charleston White. A broken clock is right twice a day. You know what at least twice a day. You know what I'm saying? So there are things that this guy says that I can agree with, that I can nod my head to and say he has a point there. But a lot of things that he says is straight up and down foolishness.
80-20, right?
Man, listen, 80-20, probably more 90-10.
90-10.
But as we continue on with Mr. Charleston White is who I'm speaking of right now, and this is the election season. So it's one thing we're going to do on the soup is we're going to stay on topic about the election season and on what's going on out here in the streets and in the world, because it's important to all of us at the end of the day. You can turn a blind eye to it if you want to, and then you ass out in the street and you wondering why. Man, so Mr. Charleston White had a couple takes on why he is one to support, of course, Donald Trump. So let's see what Mr. Charleston White has to say concerning his views on Mr. Don Trump. So here we go.
Still has the black vote in his hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because black people are the least informed voters.
Now let's start there. What he just said. That is 100% truth. That black folks are the most uninformed voters.
And black people don't remember when Joe Biden stood on Washington, Capitol Hill, and said that black people need to be locked up. That his kids ain't going to school with no black kids. They don't understand that white nigga is the author and he sponsored nigga mass incarceration. It wasn't Bill Clinton, nigga. It was Joe Biden who led the 1994 omnibus crime bill that got us in the worst shit.
So what he is referring to right here is he's talking about the crack laws is what Joe Biden was a part of putting into place.
In slavery, homie. Black people forgot that. They forgot, nigga, that he headed that shit. That he came to America and said that there are black children who are going to be super predators. And they forgot that. They can't name one thing that Trump has done other than the fact that he said that these guys from the Central Park rape.
Do you feel Biden still has the...
So there it is again. Let's listen to it one more time, y'all, so we can be clear on Mr. Whitehead.
Black vote in his hand. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Because black people are the least informed voters.
So again, I'm gonna say that once again, least informed voters is who he says we are.
And black people don't remember when Joe Biden stood on Washington, Capitol Hill, and said that black people need to be locked up. That his kids ain't going to school with no black kids. They don't understand that Biden nigga is the author and he sponsored nigga mass incarceration. It wasn't Bill Clinton, nigga. It was Joe Biden who led the 1994 omnibus crime bill that got us in the worst shit in slavery, homie. Black people forgot that. They forgot, nigga, that he headed that shit. That he came to America and said that there are black children who are going to be super predators. And they forgot that. They can't name one thing that Trump has done other than the fact that he said that these guys from the Central Park rape.
Do you feel Biden still has the black?
So let me just say this before we go to this next clip. The most important thing that I got from this conversation from Charleston was that black folks are misinformed. Okay, that's one thing that I can agree with. Also, Joe Biden was part of putting in place the crack laws. There's no debating that either. But also, there is no debating that we as a people are misinformed on this voting shit. So he said that all we know about Trump is that he was against the Central Park 5. So let's see what they had to say about this.
Debunk two big myths about Donald Trump and black people. Myth number one.
Never heard anything about Donald Trump being racist until he ran for president and won.
Not true. Trump's history of racism goes back decades. The Nixon administration sued him for refusing to rent to black people in the 1970s. He led a lynch mob against 5 innocent black and brown teenagers in the Central Park 5 case in the 1980s. He claimed that
a well-educated black has a tremendous advantage over a well-educated white.
He was fined for racial discrimination at his casinos in the 1990s. He used racist language to fight against Native American casinos.
They don't look like Indians to me.
And he was quoted as saying he didn't want black people counting his money, only Jews. Then he led a 5.5-year racist campaign challenging President Obama's birth certificate.
You have people now down there searching, in Hawaii.
Absolutely, and they cannot believe what they found.
Heck, even Republicans knew he was racist.
Man that chooses not to disavow the KKK, that's not who we want as president.
Here's Lindsey Graham.
He's a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot.
And his top black aide, Omarosa.
Donald Trump will go down as the most racist president in the history of our nation.
Even his future White House press secretary.
To me, a racist statement's a racist statement. I don't like what Donald Trump said.
Yeah, we knew. Myth number 2.
Nobody has done more for the black community than Donald Trump.
Not true. Trump appointed the 3 Supreme Court justices who overturned affirmative action. He appointed fewer black judges than any president in decades. He signed an executive order banning critical race theory, DEI, diversity, or any kind of training on racial sensitivity. He led a racist campaign against black quarterback Colin Kaepernick.
Get that son of a off the field right now. Out. He's fired.
He attacked civil rights hero John Lewis. He attacked black countries as country. He vetoed a bill to remove Confederate names from military bases. He canceled President Obama's plan to put Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill. He gave a Medal of Freedom to racist Rush Limbaugh. He tear-gassed peaceful Black Lives Matter protesters outside the White House. He tweeted a video of a supporter chanting, "White power! and then tried to throw out millions of black votes in Atlanta, Detroit, and Philadelphia when he lost the 2020 election.
Nobody has done more for the black community than Donald Trump.
Say what you want about Donald Trump, but don't piss on me and tell me it's raining.
Exactly.
So, again, Charleston says we're the most misinformed people there is out there. What you got to say about Charleston's act there, P?
Again, Charleston White is for Charleston White. So he's going to say what he's got to say to get clicks and likes and views. He looks like his net worth is about 1.5 million. He's trying to add on to it. But we can be misinformed because we can be listening to the wrong people. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for shows like Men of a Certain Age, a lot of people wouldn't have seen what you just showed us. You know what I'm saying? About Trump and all the things that he's done, other than the Central Park 5 with his housing discrimination and things of that nature. So again, with Charleston White, it's 90-10. Most of the things I disagree with in that particular situation where he said we can be misinformed, he's right, because a lot of us don't look for the information we need to look for. We just go by what somebody else is saying. And again, like Les said before, don't listen to me, don't listen to him. Go find out, go figure it out. You just gave facts, factual information that people may ignore. It's out there. Go get it. Go do the research, man. The facts are there. Then that way you can make an informative decision on what you're going to do when it comes to voting for the president.
As he said, black folks are the most misinformed voters there are out there. And just judging from his take, he's seriously misinformed. Is he not? Charleston White.
Charleston White is a damn fool. Period. I don't like to speak on damn fools, but I will. I've been saving my take on Charleston White for about 2 years. So here, yeah, literally, yeah. I'm never discussed Charleston White. So I think he's a damn fool. Anybody who is consistently trying to draw attention to himself and not his cause through acts of disrespect, stereotypical speech and actions, calling our women bitches, calling mothers dots, and that they should do this, that, the old stank black bitch, this other type of stuff. Yo, I don't forget that stuff. You know what I mean? So, number one, he's a damn fool. So I never consider anything that number one, yeah, he's a damn fool. I've never considered anything that he said is to be any type of gospel. And like you said, twice a day, a clock may be right. But even when he's right, he's fucking wrong for the wrong reason, for the right reason.
For the right reason.
He's because his mind is so capitalized that he's willing to be a buffoon and a coon for people who like a loud nigga, right? They like somebody who's loud. But if you've ever been in a situation, in a group setting, and if you ever take any group psychology courses, or if you've ever been incarcerated, you know that what? The loudest nigga in the room is what?
Coward.
The coward, the weakest nigga in the room, right? That's why he walks around with pepper spray and mace and guns and security, because he knows that he's drawing the ire of people who think he's a damn fool. Now, me personally, at 53 years old, I'm not going to go out and challenge the man because he's in Atlanta all the time. I'm sure he drives past my house at least once or twice a month, considering where I live at. But come on, man. This goes back to people creating celebrities for nothing. Kim Kardashian, look how far she's gone off a damn porn tape. You know what I mean? Look at Charleston White. It's so many people that have been created and been made influencers when they really haven't been doing anything but spewing madness, literal madness. Because Charleston White is a damn fool and has been a damn fool since he stepped on the stage. So, man, no, man, get him up out of here. If I see him, I tell him the same shit to his face. Get the fuck up out of here, bro. Like, you are definitely an impediment to, I don't care what you say, oh, I'm gang members and what I'm doing, I'm fighting and stuff. You are a damn fool on a national stage on a consistent basis. And I hope, honest to goodness, I hope it comes to an end very soon.
I couldn't agree with you more. When he said that black voters are the most misinformed, I was like, you could just stop right there and don't say anything else. Because you know what I'm saying? He proved the point. Just listen to him sit up there and talk and spew the babble that he was spewing. And Floyd and saying that nobody said Donald Trump was racist until he ran for president. Donald Trump was given a pass in the culture for a long time. He's been given a pass because he showed up in the ring with Tyson and Don King way back then. And then inside the hip hop culture, we associate glamour and glitz. We got to a point that was important. And who was the king of glamour and glitz? Was Trump. So he was always ballyhooed in hip hop culture because he was glamour and glitz. Right. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get more into the hip hop culture and that whole glamour and glitz topic later on in the suit. But as far as Charleston White, man, he's a real dangerous dude, man, because a lot of people are inhaling what he's out there putting out. And they are saying it and taking it as it's the gospel. You know what I'm saying? And that, as I said, that's the reason why I say the man is dangerous. He's entitled to have his opinion, but you know, for him to come out there and say the only thing we know is about the Central Park Five, as if that's not bad
enough, right?
You know what I'm saying? And not only that, the man is a serial rapist. You know what I'm saying? And a crook and a fraudster. None of that don't add up either, huh? That don't matter that he's a fraudster, a crook, a rapist, and a racist.
That goes back to something real quick. That goes back to that whole philosophy, whereas Southerners look at Northerners in a different way. Like, he'll crucify Jay-Z. Oh, Jay-Z, don't look at him like that down the South. But what he'll do, he'll suck off Donald Trump. You know what I mean? A white man, the country rat, the city rat to the country mouse. Mm-hmm. All day.
Same old soup. He just reheating it, huh, man?
Same old story, my man.
So yeah, man. To Charleston White, man, this is how we feel about you, man.
Fuck out of here.
You know what I'm saying? That's for sure. So, man, as we continue to cook up this soup, this next one is another one that I'm going to call a class A nigga. You know, and some people have said that there's nothing worse than a black devil. Again, that could be something that's been planted in our minds from years and decades, but I've heard that over and over that it ain't nothing worse than a black devil. You know what I'm saying? And this next topic, man, this guy, Mark Robinson, man, running for governor in the great state of North Carolina. Are y'all up on this guy, Mark Robinson?
Yeah, I did a Google search of him like a year ago, man, just to see, because I think he was running for,
lieutenant governor is who he.
Yeah, he was running for lieutenant governor or something like that in North Carolina. So I did a quick Google search on him, and I checked him. I was like, people are really going for this? But then again, I realized that he's in North Carolina, and you have to realize North Carolina is where they had the largest population of the Ku Klux Klan in the South. Period. I can see how they can have a Negro in place will do their bidding. I'm not surprised by it. I'm just hope people aren't deceived by the color.
As always, Roland Martin, Unfiltered, had a little piece on this guy, Mark Robinson, and brought to light on what some of his thoughts and some of his views are. So what I want to do, man, is I want to go ahead and let's go ahead and get Unfiltered real quick and see what Roland got to say about this guy, Mark Robinson.
Super Tuesday, and there were elections all over the place. And look, it was going to be Biden, Trump, presidential level. But really, the whole key is what happened down ballot. One of the places, North Carolina, where the Republicans nominated for their choice for governor is the current lieutenant governor, Mark Robinson. Mark Robinson is a Holocaust denier. He believes that the civil rights movement was a joke. The Democratic Governors Association is already out with a hard-hitting ad against him. Watch.
Abortion is a scourge that needs to be run out of this land. It's not your body anymore. It's y'all's body. And yes, that includes the daddy. So many things were lost during the civil rights movement. So many freedoms were lost during the civil rights movement. They shouldn't have been lost. I'd love to pass a law that restricts abortion. We could pass a bill saying you can't have an abortion in North Carolina for any reason. This little minor thing happens in January. Oh, that's horrible. If there's a movement in this country that is demonic and that is full of the spirit of Antichrist, it is the transgender movement. homosexuality, any of that filth. And yes, I call it filth. Abortion is a scourge that needs to be run out of this land.
And keep in mind that Mark Robinson's wife, Yolanda, she actually had an abortion. Check this out, Rebecca. He don't like folks like you having a right to vote. Listen to what Mark Robinson said in 2020.
A few days ago and asked her, what America are we going back to make America great again? The one where women couldn't vote or black people were swinging from trees? I would say to him if I was standing in front of him, I absolutely want to go back to the America. Women couldn't vote. You know why? Because in those days, we had people who fought for real social change, and they were called Republicans. A few days ago and asked her.
So Mark Robinson wants to go back to the days, Rebecca, where people like you couldn't vote.
I think both Scott and I don't even know where to begin because there's so much. I've been watching clips about him and just watching a clown down in North Carolina. Here's the thing. I thought Herschel Walker was bad last cycle. But what is really bad is that this guy has actually, and this is also what's sad too, he is, I think, the first Black person since Reconstruction who's been elected, I think, statewide in North Carolina.
Oh, with that being said, let's stop right there. You know what I'm saying? Did you hear that last statement? And man, I'm a loss for words.
Yeah, it's just difficult to even
it's like, how do we get here? Is it the commercial DJ of it all that makes a man get up there and just sell his soul and just stand on nothing? He stood on nothing up there. Mark Robinson.
I think what it is this. I realized that in North Carolina, the state of North Carolina, there are more pigs than people. So I think the fumes and the gas from the destroying of the pigs has gotten into this man's psyche. I guess he's smelling it, he's feeling it. The swine is in his brain. He's got to be either he's that stupid or he's a genius to a point where he knows to use all the talking points of a large base for his own benefit to become an elected official. Either it's the pig gas or he's a genius. I'm gonna go with the pig gas, man. I got nothing for this. It's embarrassing to look at. It's hard for me to watch him talk. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy.
He's quite possibly, the worst I've seen in quite some time.
Uncle Ruckus.
Yeah, he's not even Uncle Ruckus, man. He ain't even free. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing about him. He's not free.
He ain't even free, dog?
Yeah, he ain't even free, man. He's still on the plantation, dog. He telling you to get up in the morning and go make sure you pick cotton faster and all that. He ain't free. He with you. He just feel that he's better because he's been blessed by the Republicans. Now, he did say something that I will expand upon. He talked about the people that were helping Black people in the civil rights movement, which was, honestly, the Republicans, right? But what happened is there's something called the Southern Strategy. And I'm sure we'll get into this. And like we said, we're going to do something. We're going to continue to mention the election season. So I'm sure we'll get into this at some point or another. But if anybody understands the Southern Strategy, which the whole object in essence was to make the poorest white man feel that he was better than the best Black man is just because he was white. As long as you understand that, you can understand why politics shifted from Democrats to Republicans.
Right.
So we'll expand upon that. But again, it goes into doing research. It goes into not just taking somebody's word as it. And when Republicans say, oh, we're the party of Lincoln. And you're like, Lincoln, he freed slaves. Oh, yeah, that must be good. Everything changed after 1968. So you just have to be conscious of and do your own research, like we said again, and understand these people really don't have our best interests at hand in any way, shape, or form.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that was like one of the first things that Charleston White blasted out. You know, the Democrats used to be the Republicans and the Republicans. So again, misinformation is misinformed voters is very dangerous. And is to our people in North Click, please share, subscribe, and comment down below. You cannot fall with a banana in the tailpipe with this dude. You know what I'm saying? Because he looks like us does not make him one of us.
He's for him. He's not for us.
You have to realize that it was a slave who sold out Nat Turner. So just because they look like us does not make them one of us. And y'all out there in North Carolina cannot fall for this guy because he is not for your best interest. He's trying to say that he wants to take it back to a time when women couldn't vote.
We couldn't vote. When we couldn't vote. He said he want to take it back to when we couldn't vote because we had white people who was making better decisions for us than we ever could.
Exactly.
What kind of shit is that? Man, if you don't get the fuck out of here.
And again, during these times, we're going to bring into the light those who need to be watched.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because as a man of a certain age, it is our responsibility to go ahead and try to educate or inform those that are uninformed. You know what I'm saying? So that guy, Mark Robinson, y'all keep an eye on him and watch how he moves because he's a very dangerous man right about now. Now, Don, you also shot me a text this week earlier about this law that was being passed in the great state of Georgia, the Peach State. So what I want to do is I'm going to share this clip, and then we're going to bring it back, and we're going to let you go in.
Georgia are still outraged over the death of 22-year-old Laken Riley, the nursing student allegedly killed by a man in the U.S. illegally. State lawmakers are now trying to give police the power to arrest any illegal immigrants and hold them for deportation. It is similar to a measure that recently passed in Texas before being blocked by a federal judge. News Nation correspondent Jorge Ventura joining us live from San Antonio to break down this new measure. Jorge?
Natasha, Georgia State House making that big move on Thursday, giving the green light to police officers. If they believe an individual is in the country illegally, they can arrest them. And this new bill in Georgia passing just days after the tragic killing of 22-year-old nursing student Laken Riley in Athens, Georgia, killed by suspect Jose Ibarra. If you remember, Jose Ibarra entered the country illegally back in 2022 in El Paso. Ibarra was then released into the U.S. Last year, Ibarra was again arrested and released in New York before a detainer could be issued. Now, fast forward to last month, February 23rd, when Ibarra was arrested in Athens, Georgia, for killing Laken Riley. Now, despite allegedly committing other crimes before that, Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas says the DHS and the federal government were not aware of prior arrest.
This is some pretty serious stuff y'all got popping off down there in GA. Don, what you got for us, man?
Man, it's funny because right now I'm on a project up in Gwinnett. And if anybody knows the Atlanta demographic area, Gwinnett is full of a lot of Hispanics, a lot of them, a lot of Asians, a few black people. It's just a few black people up there, and it's a lot of old, rich, white money. So what happens is I work with these Mexicans on a daily basis, these Hispanics, you know what I'm saying? Mexicans, Dominicans, Venezuelans, whatever, on a daily basis. Cool people, man, great people, pay me very well, great atmosphere to work in, completely stress-free, man. And these people, man, are like telling me the updates. Like they've got roadblocks set up for Mexicans, for people up there. Now they're going door to door, knocking on people's doors, checking their residency status. So people say they should be coming here illegally and so on and so forth. But you know what? The thing about it is that there's 100,000 immigrants came into the United States illegally, or 300,000, I think, last month. But how many of them were Chinese or Asian? How many of them were European? How many of them were Middle Eastern? We can't sit back and allow door-to-door searches as black people, because at first they'll come for them, then guess what they'll do? Down the line, they'll find a reason to do what? They'll find a reason to come for us. You know what I mean? Now we want to go searching to make sure every home in here isn't a black person with a gun, or a felon with a gun, or you know what I mean? It could be any reason they can enact to deny your civil rights. And obviously I'm black, right? But I do empathize and I sympathize with my Mexican or with my Hispanic brothers as far as it's concerned. But they have to And like I told someone at work, they have to use the political process at this point to empower themselves. Because not only did they put that, are they enforcing the ICE law as far as illegal immigrants are concerned, but the very next week, the same senator, Jesse Petra, I'll make sure I mention his name because I did my research on him. He's a state senator from the 66th district, which is south of Savannah. And we'll get to that conversation hopefully at some point or another. But he's a state senator from that region who reinforced that bill. And I read on the Georgia Recorder because, like I said, you got to do your research. Georgia Recorder records all the actions from the state Senate. So they recorded all of his actions have basically been things that were suppressing immigration, were suppressing people of color, were suppressing voter rights. The last thing that he sponsored after that bill passed was to take away the vote for immigrants. He wants to take away the vote for immigrants, for people who aren't born in the United States. Now, the ramifications of that obviously are going to do what? They're going to swing Georgia back what? Red. Georgia's now a blue state. So by taking those votes away from people, even though it's been allowed by the United States Constitution, remember there are states' rights out there as far as when we talk about civics, that can actually swing Georgia back to a state and to a red state and allow them to do even more harmful laws to people of color.
Yeah, that's real shit. P, did you have anything on this topic?
It's interesting, and I like the fact that I'm learning something today. I learn something every time I talk to you, gentlemen. Now, the one thing about immigration, which to me is weird, which is crazy, is they always talk about people coming from the South into the United States, from Mexico. They never talk about the illegals that are coming from Canada. You know what I'm saying? Ever. There's never an issue with that. You got illegals from Canada that are movie stars that still don't even have green cards. You know what I'm saying? They're just here. It is what it is. But we know why that is, because they look like them. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to immigration, and it's tragic what happened to the young lady down there. And if it was a illegal immigrant that did that, he needs to be dealt with properly.
Right.
Now, because he did that you can't paint a brush on all the people that are coming over that are hardworking or that are seeking asylum. Deal with that individual. Don't put a whole group of people in a situation where now they're afraid to come here for asylum or to get a better life because they feel like someone's going to come to their house and break their family up and setting up roadblocks because of some individual's stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? Deal with him. Don't put in a whole bunch of policies to ruin the people who are coming to better their lives. That's how I feel about that.
Can I say? I just want to say two quick things.
Yeah,
absolutely.
To end this off, the first thing is that the majority of immigrants that come into this country, guess how they come in? In an airplane.
Oh wow!
They come in airplane. They get their visas. And they stay.
Right.
That's how I think it's 80% of the illegal immigrants coming to the United States is through an airplane.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing, the girl's name was Laken Riley, right? The white girl. Mm-hmm. And I watch the news every day, and literally the first thing I do is watch Atlanta news in the morning. I kept on seeing like mass stories for her. I'm like, oh, another white girl gone. Whoopie-woo. Niggas die every day, B. I'm not tripping on it. But it really didn't bother me until it got national attention with the Joe Biden speech. And I woke up the next day and I heard somebody say, I looked on Facebook and I saw this girl say her name, Laken Riley. I said, you know, what about Sandra Bland?
Sandra Bland.
What about Breonna Taylor? Y'all appropriate everything. Everything. That pissed me off. Now you're going to get upset about things that I can't control, you know what I'm saying? But that legitimately pissed me off because it's like we can't even have our own
tragedy
or grief classic or exactly or tragedy which y'all trying to appropriate. It's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy, dog.
That's real shit, man. And immigration is a real touchy subject, and it's real shit. You see the shit that's going on in the city where they got to put the motherfucking National Guard on there because of the crazy shit that's going on with some other immigrants that's coming down there, pushing people in front of the trains, robbing motherfuckers and saying, yo, you know what I'm saying? All you can do is deport me. Crazy shit like that. You know what I mean? It's definitely need to get a hold on it because it's out of control for real. So we're gonna go ahead and take that part of the soup off the iron and we're gonna keep it moving. And this time, man, is we're gonna get a collect call from out west from
Marion.
From Big Suge, y'all, it's funny, man. And unfortunately, I can speak to this from some of the smartest people you're gonna meet. You're gonna meet them while you're sitting still. Whether you take everything they tell you, the stories they tell you as the gospel, but you will meet some real intelligent people in the penal system. You know what I mean? And I can speak from experience on that. And unfortunately, now Suge is one of those people that is super smart, but he's sitting still. But he got a lot to say. So what I'm gonna do is this, man, is I'm gonna share this with Suge. I said Snoop. I'm gonna share this with Suge. He's gonna come out of the box firing, and I'm gonna pause it, and we're gonna chop it up about that. Then we're gonna let him go again. All right.
So in the industry, they let it be known it's Illuminati. And you know, the Illuminati is like a Mason. The only difference is a Mason believes in God. Illuminati believe in the devil. And Illuminati believe in the devil, and they believe that men speak as men.
We're gonna pause it there for one second, and we're gonna go back to what I was saying earlier about learning and, how can I say this, building with certain individuals at certain points in my life. And when I was down, man, that's when I first got introduced to that whole Illuminati talk. You know what I'm saying? Was when I was sitting still for a little bit of time. You know what I mean? That was when that whole Illuminati talk, the holders of the light, was introduced to me, because I was oblivious to it until 95. That right around that time, sometime. Of course, I was aware of Masons. I had no recollection of the other side. When was the first time you really came into the introduction of the term Illuminati, Lord?
Shit, I was at pretty much the same time, because I was actually sitting down at the same time, and I had no choice but to listen to the gentlemen that were there, because what else am I going to do? I'm going to read, and I'm going to listen, and I'm going to be aware. You know what I'm saying? So at the same time you were sitting down, I was probably sitting down on the other side, getting the same knowledge around that time, 94, 95. I also got the knowledge from being a true hip hop head, because there's secret messages. If you really listen to lyricists, they're telling you what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Back then, when we were listening to hip hop, it was not straightforward. A lot of it wasn't straightforward. It was coded messages. If you listen to it, you'll get it. So I say 94, 95, about the same time, fam.
As they say, do your time. Don't let your time do you.
Do you. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What about you? When was it that you were unearthed to that term Illuminati and all of that comes with it?
I mean, my mom had a mean library, and the first time I got my eyes on something like that was Behold a Pale Horse. And that was the first joint I got my eyes on. Obviously, the Illuminati 666 is something that kind of opened everybody up to it. So I figure probably like 92, 3, somewhere in there, you know what I mean? It was required reading in my fraternity. We all had a book that we had to have our pledges read, and mine would always be Behold a Pale Horse or Illuminati 666. We all caught the wave around the same time.
All right, so let's go ahead and let Suge continue on.
And in that gate. So a lot of times, like a Mason. The only difference is a Mason believes in God. Illuminati believe in the devil. And Illuminati believe in the devil, and they believe that men speak as men, and in that gate. So a lot of times when you see a strong black man want to have hip hop artists or rappers or black guys in the industry, once they go visit these executives in their office, they come, stop them on the next thing they're doing drinking with them, they're doing cocaine with them, next thing they're sleeping with them. Once they overpower them and start sleeping with them, they got control of them. That's how they control the industry. And how they taught Puffy, that they did that to him, Or if he did the same thing they did to him, he did to all the new artists, the young artists, the people who really want to make it. He's been sticking with them, turning them out. Before you know it, it makes hip-hop, it makes the culture of our people look bad. Because now it seems like everything that everybody's been rapping about, talking about, been a lie. If Pac rapped about something, that's what he meant, that's what he felt. Same thing if it's Biggie, same thing with a lot of people. But this new generation of men, not all, I'm talking about the one in our area. I don't know about the young ones, so I'm not around there. In our area, they had the most engagement. And once they start painting their fingernails and wearing women's clothes, they got you. I remember when they was giving Puppy Award, the ASCAP Awards. Andre went up there and got him a expensive watch. He gave it to him in front of everybody. He basically confessed his love to this man. Another man confessed his love to another man.
Dre is not playing in that gym, if you can't see.
And Puffy and Snoopy came down, you see another one. Next thing you know, start painting their fingernails. It makes sense. Game bought Puffy a Lamborghini. Well, Puffy got more money than Game. Why you buying this man a Lamborghini?
I feel like I owe Diddy something, so I bought him a Ferrari, man.
That's what's up, man.
It was just a Tuesday.
This is shoot videos.
They probably never voted in Lamborghini. But once again, that's secret society. For this thing to work and fix it, they got to start all the way over. These major record labels and these big buildings, they need to get rid of all the guys who was connected to the poison and the snake. Start letting people allowed to get in who want to do this work.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
About people. Puffy needs to be on his way up this way. We're waiting on him, especially me. But it's still some good positive things.
Yo, he said Puff need to be heading up this way.
I'm waiting on him.
I'm waiting on him. Especially me. Yikes. Let me throw one out at you. And for those of you who continue to watch and support, we appreciate you. Please share and subscribe and comment down low. As you can notice, there's a lot of AKAs thrown around in the soup. Panero, PD, Don, Donnell. I call him UA, and you might get a Donnie Baseball.
Sir.
We got all types of Les, Fro. We all have all types of AKAs. And one of my AKAs for Don is U8, and that happens to be one of those books you might want to get under as well, which is called The Unseen Game.
No doubt.
So you have to come inside to the reason why I call it. Yeah, but I digress. That whole painting of the fingernail thing. Caleb Williams, USC quarterback, is going to be either number 1 or number 2. And the big thing, a lot of people fell out of favor with him when they saw that he was painting his fingernails. And he was on that vibe, on that tip. What do you say to some of the stuff you heard Suge say, Don, and the painting of the fingernails?
Like I said, I'm not surprised that that's how the boys is doing it. That's how they doing it. That whole Hollywood thing is a mess, dog. People want it so bad, and you don't we don't understand what people are willing to do or willing to compromise in order to get what their dreams are. You know what I mean? Everybody's soul is, up to them. However, whether you choose to think that you have one or you don't have one, whatever you do with it is honestly up to you. Some people obviously don't have the morals and the ethics and the same way we look at life as others do, but right. I'm not surprised. I'm going to say the same thing every time when it comes to that, man. I'm not surprised. Them boys is wild out there, man. And I just know that it never was appealing to me because I knew that at some point or another, I'm gonna have to compromise myself in what I believe in. I've had opportunities to do like modeling and get involved in some music stuff and get involved in some different types of entertainment spheres, but I was never willing to compromise my morals, my sexuality, or my manhood to be allowed to get into those places. And I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? I think that there are certain things that go overboard, like the whole wearing of a dress, anyway, or painting your fingernails. Those are obviously effeminate things, and I don't think that with the power and the future that we have as Black people, that any Black man can afford to emasculate themselves.
You know, I'm gonna throw this out to you. And should we be at the place now in society? If somebody called you gay, is that he called you gay? Does it still take on that context?
At this time, man, as a man of a certain age, I could care less what people think about me, bro. I got my mans in them. I got my family to take care of. Everything else, man, just bounces right off my shoulders, man. You're not going to put me in a position where you're going to make me feel a certain kind of way with words, especially when I know that I'm stable in my square and you're not going to push me off of it. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about Suge, though, I want to say is he may have an axe to grind, you know what I'm saying? But he's being truthful, because what do we have to lose at this point? You know what I'm saying? So I like listening to the things that he says. You get what you get out of it, and whatever you don't think is, you know what I'm saying, you throw it away. But man, it just seems so authentic and true. Like getting yourself put in situations where, say you end up with somebody in the bed, you another man, and they got video of it or just that and the third. Then it comes time for a contract. You like, listen, if you don't sign this, I got this video of you doing blase splizzle with, you know what I'm saying? It's like Don said, that whole industry, man, that shit is crazy, man. Why are you buying another guy a car that got more money than you? Do we have something on you? You know what I'm saying? What's going on, man?
That is
crazy, man.
I just bought him a Ferrari out of nowhere. Knowing he got 10 already.
Exactly.
It's wild and to think about what people will do for stardom and success, because we all know that money is the root. I've heard that they say that Andre did Puff, and Puff went on to start his grooming game from Andre Harrell. You know what I'm saying? But also, me as a parent, there's no way in hell that my 12-year-old, 13-year-old son is going to spend the weekend or the week with Sean Puffy Combs of
Months.
You know what I'm saying? There's no way me as a parent consciously, I'm going to, that's that type of stuff there. You opening yourself up to your son or your daughter being molested. You're going to send your child with a grown man. What grown man wants to keep your child overnight unless he has his own kids that they friends with? Right. You know what I'm saying? We work as an artist and producer from 9 to 9 or whatever. Going to live with you and all that type stuff. Nah, B. We can't have that. We can't have that with good conscience. And I enjoy Suge. I was never, y'all know me, I was never a West Coast dude. You know what I'm saying? So it's funny that I find so much enjoyment in Suge. Now, it seems like when he was out in the world, he was a bully. So that's the reason why I didn't really have no affinity for him, because who has an affinity for the bully except his friends? And are they really his friends if he a bully? Or are you just a hostage at that point? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at that, him in behind bars and listen to him talk, like you said, P, you got to take it with a grain of salt, because it comes from a personal place between him and Puff. But also, if anybody is gonna know Puff, his enemy is gonna know him better than damn near anybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, that was a little bit of taste of what Suge had to say on some things, and that whole Illuminati talk, which is something that we've all known that really got hot in the 90s. No matter when you picked it up, that was when it P dropping it in Who Shot Your verse.
Illuminati want my mind, soul, and my body.
Come on, man.
Trying to get the eyes on me.
Exactly. And if you wasn't in the know, you didn't know what that was talking
about, right?
Before I hung around the gods and the earth. So when you listen to Rakim and he's saying God degree and stuff like that, you had no idea what he was talking about. You know what I'm saying? And
7 MC to put him in the line. 7 more.
On,
take another 7. That's 3 7 right there. Come on, man.
21. Come on, man. But it's like the educational factor of the penile system is one thing you should learn when you in there is that you don't want to be in there. That's the first thing you should fucking learn. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, shout to Suge out there, man. Hold your head out there, man, because you got to stretch. So the last thing we're going to put in this soup, man, is from that cat from the Lou, man. Just one of the Saint Lunatics, Nelly. He has something really interesting to say on his episode of The Shop with Maverick and them boys. So let's see what the kid Nelly had to say, and we'll come back and build on that, man.
Like,
goddamn,
yeah,
goddamn. But you got to understand, my era of music was the toughest era in hip hop ever.
Huh?
When I put out songs, I had to go against DMX, Jay-Z, Eminem, Lil Wayne, 50 Cent, Luda, all fighting for one spot. So from 99 to 2008, 10, it's the hardest era ever.
Before we get started, Don, I'm gonna put this up before we get started. That ain't what I want. This is here it is, right here.
Down, baby, your street in the Range Rover.
You see what it says? Best decade of hip hop.
C for me. C for me. But you got Rakim and Run and B. You know what I'm saying? Like it's either B or C, depending on.
It cannot be either or.
It's gotta be
the other.
Give me C, man. Give me C. Gotta give me C.
Okay, Lord.
Yeah. Wow. I gotta go B, fam. Because it takes me to my, you know what I'm saying? It takes me back to my here we go. Then it takes me to my woo. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. And my Nas Esco and you know what I'm saying? I was a fan of DMC. Yeah, I gotta go B, fam.
Yeah, I'm definitely a B cat. 83 to 93 would be mine. And we've in episodes in the past, we've gone with our eras. And my golden era is from 86 to 97. That 10 to 11 year stretch is the golden era for me. And
right.
Nelly, 99 to 2000. How you feel about his time period, Lord?
For him, that was tough. Yeah, because he was involved in it. And he had a lot of competition also. But because of his region, he had a following. So that helped him out. But when you going against DMX and, you know what I'm saying? He ain't mentioned the Wu or Nas. You know what I'm saying? I guess he wasn't even, but you got Jay and DMX and even Chris One was on his back. You know what I mean? So it was difficult for him because a lot of us didn't consider what he was doing is hip hop or is it rap? I don't know what it was. It was country grammar. I don't know what the fuck that was. But again, I'm from up here. That's just my opinion. Obviously, he moved units. You know what I mean? Because it was popular. And because from his region, he got his region, and plus other people who was into the type of rap, sing, lottie, whatever the melodic, I don't know what the fuck it was. But again, he made money doing it. I am not a Nelly I like Nelly more as an actor than a rapper, to be honest with you. I think the nigga funny. You know what I'm saying? He's funny to me, especially when on the Real Husbands of Hollywood shit. That shit was hilarious. Yeah, I ain't never purchased no Nelly. I probably won't ever purchase anything Nelly. Shout out to Nelly. I'm an Ashanti fan. Motherfucker, I don't know what to say.
Shout out to them. Congratulations to them on Ashanti pregnant on the way.
Yeah, congratulations.
Shout out to them. But go ahead, Don. You agree with Pimp Juice?
I love what Pimp Juice said, and y'all restricted me with those years right there, with my golden era. So I'm gonna go ahead and back mine up to 86 to 97. You know what I'm saying? And that's when I really got into it. You got Redman, Rakim, KRS. Now you got everybody. You got the foundation, Wu-Tang, from those in that time period. So I'm with you on that one, young Fro. But as far as his era, man, it was tough, man. It was tough. It was tough, man. You got some boys he didn't even mention on there. Like you got Redman. He didn't mention Redman was stomping around that time. You got the boys from down south. Jeezy had just came out. So you got a lot of boys in a lot of different sections. You got YGK and 3-6 Mafia. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of cats. You know what I'm saying? That was really
UGK.
YGK.
You said YGK because we know you from up here. That's why you ain't know the you from the
YGK. I think about the zipper. Yeah. YGK on your zipper. You know what I'm saying? Outkast. You know what I'm saying? So he had a lot of boys.
Oh, he didn't even mention Outkast. Huh?
Yeah, he didn't even mention Outkast. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And they went diamond. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I do agree with it. It was a heavy level competition up there, man. But I wouldn't say it was the toughest. I think the toughest probably was when it was just like that 10-year stretch, like we said, like 86 to like 97, man, because you had it coming from you had Houston coming, you had LA with NWA and Ice Cube, you had Seattle, fucking Sir Mix-a-Lot. It might not be a lyricist, you know what I'm saying, but he impacted the culture. You got Luke coming in from the South. So in that era, you had to fight, you know what I'm saying, to be heard. Whereas when it was when the era when he's talking about it was already developed on the radio. Like the battle was over, and now these guys just sailed onto the radio, and you fell into the genre that worked for you.
His era when he came out, again, my golden age was 86 to 97, and that's the reason why that next era is the platinum double
commercial shit, commercial DJs
of hip hop. Right after that 97, and that's the reason why my cutoff was 97, and that's what he's talking about. So 500, 5 million. That point in time, hip hop was different. It was getting played on the radio during the day, whereas in the beginning, early in the day, it didn't come on until the weekend or until Friday night,
Sunday night on BNY.
Sunday night on BNY. Exactly. He ain't wrong for thinking that, and for me, like you said, Don, the early time would have been the hardest time because it was harder to get on
in
the early days.
Airplay, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just to get a deal. So he again, respect to Nelly for thinking his time was the hardest time because y'all really wasn't making hip hop. Y'all was making hip hop.
Right.
Y'all was making pop is what y'all was doing.
Yeah.
The roads have been paved all by that previous generation. So them boys was smooth sailing, Lil Wayne and all them, you know what I'm saying? All them. Think about the cats. Hip hop is so diverse, man. I love it so much, man. I do. Really do.
It was diverse. I don't know what the fuck going on now, but
it is, and that's the reason why we talk about it, is because we love it. It's not because we love it is because we lived it. And I try to explain it like this. When it was new, when it was its newest and it's at its rawest form, hip hop was in its beginning stages, it was in its rawest form. You know what I mean? Because there was no blueprint to it. Man, shout out to Nelly for saying that his era was a tough era. Yeah, y'all made a lot of bubblegum pop music during that time, man. And it sold a lot of records thanks to 106 in Park, you know what I mean? TRL, you know, Rhapsody, and the radios were playing it 900 times in a day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This was the latest and the greatest episode of Men of the Certain Age, The Soup. We're going to wrap this up. Before we do, how we do, You got anything to say to the people before we say peace?
Man, no, actually, I'm excited, man. We relaunching my t-shirt brand. I'm doing a lot of planning and a lot of festival stuff coming up this summer. We got 420, which is going to be our launch date next month. I'm trying to do some stuff with Gas House or a pop-up shop in Greenbrier Mall, and I've got a couple more festivals, Caribbean festivals, Atlanta Jazz Festival, and Juneteenth lined up. So hopefully it'll be a good summer for the brand, man. I'm really gonna take that, and like I said, once again, thank you guys. Got me nice and clear, looking very professional as a man of a certain age. I really appreciate you guys getting me right, man. I look forward to next Sunday as I did this one.
Oh man, we all we got, baby. P, what you got for the people?
Man, I want to give a shout out to my man's Dante DiVincenzo, or the New York Knicks. My man Dante, you know what I'm saying? Only the fourth Knick in the history of the New York Knicks to make 200 3-pointers in the regular season. Go Knicks, share, subscribe. My man Dante, keep firing that shot, man.
Yes. Thanks again for tuning in. We appreciate y'all, man. Please tell a friend to tell a friend. Please share and subscribe and comment down low. Again, for P, for Don, I'm Les. It's the same old soup, and we just reheating it. Peace.